I bet you're like, this has to be clickbait. There's no way Gioni tried to run through a landmine, and there's no way Emmett nearly died trying to get a rock. But nope. These two events are very much canon and very much stupid. Of course, there's more context to both of these, which I'll explain throughout this video, but that's essentially what I plan to vibe on today. How stupid is too stupid for an OC? And I'm not talking about characters like Patrick or Sonic Boom Knuckles, characters who are supposed to be stupid. No, I'm talking about characters who have some semblance of intelligence, then they go and do dumb stuff like running through landmines like it's the freaking pentathlon. Gioni is a freaking idiot, and I'm the writer who wrote said idiot. So go grab your 18-ounce containers of cinnamon and your cold water clean 3-in-1 Tide Pods. It's time to get stupid here on the Rose Maddie channel. So buckle up, buckaroos. A big thing when it comes to original characters is how they're introduced and portrayed. And to put it as simply as possible, if I stray too far away from the characterization, that's when a character becomes dumb. It's such a fine balance that it can easily go awry. Oh wait, hi, by the way, I'm a writer of a book and I write things, and sometimes I do a decent job with characterization and other times I completely fall flat on my face. But fortunately, I catch it before it's published. That's why it's crucial to make several drafts so you won't butcher your characters. Let's start by talking about a dude who nearly died over a rock and how I almost butchered his entire character in a single scene. So Emmett is a former thief and criminal. Sure, there are hints that he has seen the light and made a switch, but there are many times he'll do something morally dubious. In this particular scene, he steals a rock, specifically a Zekrin crystal. They have a couple of days to get one before it's too late, and this genius thought the quickest way to get one is by stealing it.
I love stealing. I love taking things.
I mean, I guess he's technically not wrong. Now, it's been a while since I read my draft of chapter 27 and 28, and oh my goodness, that whole chapter is a ride. It's so corny and funny and dramatic. I can't wait for you guys to read it. I feel like once we shift towards chapter 20, that's when the sci-fi elements start to come into play. But anyway, Emmett decides to steal from Manvarinth, a Zekrin kid with 2 powers. Now listen closely, because this is where it gets silly. This kid can manipulate any plant matter and create vines out of nowhere. He can also rearrange your DNA because humans share 50% of their DNA with plants, and this guy has, well, plant-based powers. And I'm not talking about fun DNA manipulation like Danny Phantom having his molecules all rearranged or Ben 10 with his Omnitrix that can alter DNA. I'm saying that this guy can literally rearrange your DNA like, you know. Yeah. It doesn't take much common sense to figure out what happens when you mutate the cells in someone's body. That being said, this idiot decided to fight him despite having no powers, just a baseball bat. Now, I don't even have to explain why that's beyond stupid. I totally forgot to mention this in my suffering video, but there's nothing more funny than running into an unmatched battle and instantly getting your butt kicked. Let me change the subject real quick, then we'll go back to talking about this moron. Now, I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna get me shot in an alleyway, but I always say things that get me shot in alleyways, and I haven't been shot yet, so I'm gonna speak my mind. Chiaotzu's death in Dragon Ball, specifically when he fights, and I'm saying fights with quotation marks, Nappa. He hops on his back, stays on his back, and gets absolutely murked, then self-destructs in an attempt to endgame himself and Nappa, but in the end, Nappa survives and Chiaotzu as well. He gone. Now, some people find this absolutely sad. Me and other people kind of find it funny and dumb, like, he just literally died for nothing. Like, sure, hindsight is 20/20, but it makes you realize that a big part of stupidity stems from bravery. And I only bring this up because it seems like bravery can be a good excuse for a character to act stupid. So we could say that Emmett was acting brave when he went up against Manvarinth, especially since the rock wasn't just for himself, but for his friends. He ends up getting rocked. No pun intended. And he ends up getting his DNA rearranged, and death is knocking on his door, but hey, at least he got the thing he wanted. Brave yet stupid. And that's how the chapter went. Emmett steals, Emmett fights someone who is way overpowered compared to him, and he is aware of that, and now he's dying. But something felt so wrong about this chapter after I wrote it. It was almost like he was out of character or something, because usually he's very careful and barely takes risks. Like, he usually scolds Joni, aka Landmine Girl, for making risky decisions, but despite his carefulness, I mean, he's still a thief, and this does seem like something he would do. I'm telling you guys, I didn't want to delete this chapter because I liked it, but at the same time, it made Emmett look like he ate stupid pills for breakfast. It took me a year. No, I'm not exaggerating. Over a year to figure out why this chapter I wrote was so bad. And it's like the easiest, most grade school level storytelling 101 solution. Show don't tell. Meaning, I kept saying that Emmett used to steal in many chapters, but I never once showed it. Like, literally. Throughout the book, he is always breaking and entering places and always attacks through cheap shots. In that same chapter, before the big fight, he hits Manverinth with a bat and runs off. So he does act like a criminal. I showed all of this, but never once, not once did I think, hey, maybe you should show him stealing? Like, maybe Emmett's not the one who's on stupid pills. I am for not writing that in. So obviously, when it comes to making a character do something stupid, make sure it's consistently stupid. Something they always do, so when they fly too close to the sun after stealing one too many times, it burns just a little more. So yeah, I'll revise parts of that book so that he steals more, so when the Manverinth fight does happen in chapter 28, it won't come out of nowhere. But that's an example of me adding things to the text so that it can be better. There were also times where I had to remove stuff so that the story can be better. So in one chapter, these three needed to escape, but while in the planning phase of their escape plan, I'm not joking, Emmett and Kathy start arguing, and it was like the stupidest, pettiest argument too. They were hiding behind a bush and they just started arguing because Emmett was accidentally poking Kathy. I mean, as a writer, I kind of found it funny, but the whole story just stopped. It just stopped in time during a very high stakes moment for these two to just start arguing. I felt so bad for Giodi. She's the mom trying to drive her freaking Toyota Sienna while these two are just arguing in the back seat. This scene made absolutely no sense given the context that they were trying to escape. So you know how I fixed it? This is my grand plan to fix it. I deleted it. I think it had to be around 500 words, and it was such a funny scene, don't get me wrong, but it was just so stupid that it had to go. And that's so important as a writer. You have to kill your darlings, meaning remove anything that just doesn't add to the story. And not only did Kathy and Emmett's arguing add nothing to the freaking story, but it made them so stupid in tandem. One of my favorite examples of a darling getting cut is from the musical Hamilton, specifically the song Congratulations. I think we can all agree that this song bangs. I love it so much and I still listen to it to this day. But if Congratulations made it to the actual Broadway musical, it would have made it worse. Hear me out. Essentially, the song features Angelica, who is Hamilton's sister-in-law, reprimanding Hamilton for destroying his career by cheating on his wife, aka her sister. Oh, and Hamilton was the one who told everyone through a pamphlet, the Reynolds pamphlet. It was a stupid idea, yes, but the song Congratulations kind of sounds like the writer was insecure about Hamilton's stupid decision, especially since Hamilton has been portrayed to be very smart all up until this moment. We got lines like,
"You have invented a new kind of stupid, a damage you can never undo kind of stupid, and open all the cages in the zoo kind of stupid. Truly, you didn't think this through kind of stupid."
The easiest workaround writers use for a character acting stupid is to openly acknowledge it's stupid. Therefore, no one can call it stupid. Well, sadly, that trick doesn't work on audiences anymore. You can't just call something stupid just to wave away its stupidity. It's still stupid regardless, even if you're the first one to point it out. So the song continues saying this.
So yeah, congratulations. You've redefined your legacy. Congratulations.
It was an act of political sacrifice.
Sacrifice? I languished in a loveless marriage in London
There's a lot here. First off, why is Angelica more concerned about Hamilton's legacy compared to, I don't know, her sister getting cheated on? And it's public knowledge too. Then she goes on to say that she knows sacrifice because she was in a loveless marriage and Hamilton's flirtatious letters kept her afloat. Then she fantasizes out loud about what would happen if they were together. You know, she says this after he cheated on her sister. That whole song is a mess when you remove the catchy lyrics and the fun melody. It's also a pace breaker for the musical, considering the Reynolds pamphlet did a much better job explaining the fallout.
I'm not here for you. I know my sister like I know my own mind. You will never find anyone as trusting or as kind. I love my sister more than anything in this life. I will choose her happiness over mine every time. Put what we had aside. I'm standing at her side. You could never be satisfied. God, I hope you're satisfied.
I'm glad it was cut from the musical, and you know what? To this day, I still absolutely love Congratulations. The whole song, I know it by heart, but it had to go. So instead of having a song like Congratulations explaining to us how Hamilton is stupid, instead I love how the song Hurricane exists just to show us why he's stupid for this particular scenario.
I wrote my way out of hell. I wrote my way to revolution. I was louder than the crack in the bell. I wrote Eliza love letters until she fell. I wrote about the Constitution and defended it well. And in the face of ignorance and resistance, I wrote financial systems into existence. And when my prayers to God were met with indifference, I picked up a pen. I wrote my own deliverance.
And with this information, now we know why Hamilton's reasoning for writing the Reynolds pamphlet. It's because writing has helped him in the past. It's not the brightest line of thinking, but that's okay, at least we know why. And he had to act fast too, considering this exchange.
How do I know you won't use this against me the next time we go toe-to-toe?
Alexander, rumors only grow, and we both know what we know.
A stupid decision usually happens when your back is against the wall, when you have no time to think. How do you strategize? Are you good at thinking under pressure? A lot of people aren't. It's finally time to talk about the landmine girl, and she's definitely stubborn and stupid. Our main character for 2152, the Trifold article, everybody. She's kinda dumb sometimes. Unlike Emmett fighting over a rock seemingly coming out of nowhere before the rewrite, Joni running through a landmine consistently aligns with this character, especially when you read up to chapter 23 when this takes place. As early as chapter 3, she enters a building that is dangerous to find something valuable as payment because she ran all out of money. She does this instead of asking one of her many friends for help, and gets bit by a tenebrous. Chapter 20, same story, different flavor. She breaks into a train station that is off limits to find the truth. Ooh, the truth. She sets off the alarm and gets attacked by a mob, and then gets kicked out of the town.
This was all my fault. I was the one who wanted to relax on Sunday. Now, if you'll be so kind as to leave so I can get ready for work tomorrow.
Mr. President,
Shush.
we just wanted to...
Get out of my house!
And now this leads us to good old chapter 23, where, surprise, surprise, she needs to go through a landmine as a shortcut to get something that she needed.
I know a shortcut right here. That's not the shortcut. That's not the shortcut. I'm sorry.
What makes it even worse with these scenarios in chapter 3, 20, and 23 is that she usually gets other people involved with her brain-dead schemes, and said people are usually Emmett and Kathy. Like, the best thing I can compare this to is like pre-hibernation week Sandy. It's true that Joni has a bit of a daredevil side to her despite her being on the anxious side, but I'd say that her daredevil idiocy only pops up when she's desperate. I'm gonna make up a scenario like a completely out of nowhere so you can kind of get the picture of what kind of character Joni is. Let's say Joni is hungry and needs food but has no money. She hates asking people for help, so she won't take any free food offered to her. Instead, her solution would probably be something like, I don't know, digging in the trash cans of Home Depot for Home Depot receipts so that she could possibly win like $5,000 gift cards. And she hopes by entering enough of those that she can actually win the gift card and eat all the candy in the checkout aisle. That's the kind of thinking we're dealing with when it comes to Gioni. Decisions that are unnecessarily complex and stupid. Her insecurities and impaired decision making are what make her an idiot. She always emphasizes the reward over the risk. She's not digging through trash cans. She's getting a $5,000 gift card. She's not entering a dangerously unstable building. She's finding something valuable as payment. And of course, she's not running through a landmine. She's taken a shortcut. And that's barely the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this character's terrible decision making. She barely eats due to anxiety. She barely sleeps due to anxiety. And she always has less than a day in most scenarios to make a quick decision. Also, she's 15 and teenagers can be kinda dumb. So those are the external factors for why she can act pretty dumb sometimes, but rest assured that the landmine incident was actually the last straw. Like the last time she did something that dumb and risky without a clear plan. And her friends are more vocal about it too when scenarios like these pop up. It's just part of her character development, because you can't develop if you're already perfect, so she's imperfect and perfectly dumb. The key is to just let us know what your OC is thinking when they're doing something that is considered stupid. I think a good balancing act is having someone acknowledge it. And I'm not talking about Angelica up in your face claiming that you've invented a new kind of stupid. Most people won't call you stupid to your face. People are more likely to drop little warnings here and there. In this scenario, I think this is when it's okay to tell more than show. We've been shown already how impulsive Gioni is, so let's do some telling sprinkled out throughout the book. In Chapter 4, Lamisha tells her that actions have consequences and that it takes one selfish action to cause irreversible harm. In Chapter 6, Darren tells her that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness and he's glad that she's asking for help instead of doing something reckless. So, Gioni listens. Then in Chapter 7, when she asks Tracy for help, Tracy is frustrated, saying everything is the 11th hour, in a way reaffirming Gioni's beliefs that she needs to handle everything herself. So she goes back to her old ways. Then this leads us to Chapter 9, and I have to read this quote straight from the book because it just sums up everything well. One bad idea after the next, and I can't get a break stressing about you. When you start talking like that, when you start making that face, there's no changing your mind, and reason goes out the door. How often do you have to get hurt before realizing risky behavior isn't rewarding? And with Gioni's biggest flaw laid out right in front of her, she redefines it in her head like she redefines everything, saying it's not risky, it's survival.
Is this nigga serious?
So to answer how stupid is too stupid for an OC, I think the biggest thing is that whatever dumb action they're committing, let it be aligned with their character. And especially let it be aligned with their flaws and weaknesses. If you showcase their flaws naturally throughout the story, I think there's some leeway for stupidity. I know it's sometimes scary to make imperfect characters, but when they finally grow and mature, it's a treat for everyone reading. These two are idiots now, but eventually they'll become less stupid through a hearty, healthy serving of life experiences. Trial through fire, or should I say trial through landmine. Let me know what dumb things your OCs have done and how they've rationalized it. I'm curious to see all the hurricanes to Reynolds pamphlet type justifications and scenarios. But you know what, folks? That's it. That's the video. Check out my book. It's both illustrated and animated, sci-fi and adventure. It's called 2152 The Trifled Article. I've been telling you all about Gioni's one fatal flaw throughout this whole video, but now you can kind of see it more illustrated with words if you're up for it. I'm glad that many chapters I've spoken about today happen to be published already, so if you're curious about the characters I've talked about in this video, my website will be linked below, as well as the newsletter. I also have a Discord for artists and writers that'll also be linked below. Like and subscribe and whatever, because I keep forgetting to say that. That's much appreciated. Have fun while creating today, and I'll see you guys later.